Hello, I'm Mel and this is my Knit, Stitch and Grow channel, and today I want to catch you up on some things that I've made, some things that I've got in progress, and then I'm going to talk at the end about a yarn festival that's actually happening at the end of April in Edinburgh, which will be exciting. So what I'll do is I did a little bit of a video about a month ago about a finished object, the baby cardigan that was knitting for my colleague, and also I did a little bit of a chat about swatching for Milo's hat, so I'll put that video in here now. Hiya, this is just past Mel for you. Quickly popping on and just want to give you a look at the baby cardigan that I finished before I pop it in the post. So here it is. It's the Perfect Baby Cardigan by Daughter of a Shepherd, and it's in this beautiful multicoloured ching DK, and I added some lime green buttons to pick up the pops of lime green that are in the yoke. So I'll get that in the post this week. And then the other thing that I wanted to show you, because I just want to get on and start knitting it, is I did a swatch for Milo's hat. So if you remember in the last episode I had knit Milo a hat and it was far too big, and I think it's because I just didn't make a great choice of yarn. But what I decided to do, nothing wrong with the yarn, it maybe just wasn't the right yarn for the project. But what I've done to try and make it work is hold it together. I thought if I held it together with another fingering weight yarn, so it's a DK weight yarn, but hold it together with a fingering weight yarn, I might get closer to the actual gauge. And also if I use a non-superwash fingering, then it should hopefully give it a bit of stability and a bit of elasticity to hold the shape of the hat. So originally I'd made the Pearl Soho Best Friend hat, but when I did this when I did this swatch, I wasn't getting the right gauge still. So then I remembered that I had made a hat, another DK weight hat pattern, which is called Build Your Own DK hat. And so I tried that, and this is what I've done this swatch based on, and this gives me gauge. So the bit at the bottom from here to here is in the original yarn that I was using, which is this beautiful DK Fruitful Fusion yarn, and I held that together with this lovely kind of sagey green. It's beautiful. This is a Garth Nor Proselli, which is just, it's gorgeous. So that's, these two together is the bottom of the hat, and then you'll see there's kind of like a more vibrant green at the top there, and that is this held together with this beautiful kind of bottle green. This is Mondim, their 4-ply, and that's lovely. So actually, yeah, when it's held together, it really makes the other colours pop, I think. So anyway, I let Milo have a look at this, and he actually, yeah, he liked the more kind of vibrant bottle green and how the other colours popped out around it. So that's the one that I'm going to do. So I'm basically, it's like a 2x2 rib, and then it's just a stockinette crown. So that's what I'm going to start making. But I wanted to show you the swatch just to kind of see how the base yarn can change when you hold it with different yarns. I just love that. I love the marling effect, and I love how you can get different just such a different colour coming out. I mean, it's similar but different. So yeah, I just wanted to share that. Okay, now back to current mill. Cheers. And so yeah, you'll have seen all of my swatching shenanigans for Milo's hat, and you'll be pleased to know that I've actually finished it. Here it is. Here, it's actually a finished hat. And you'll notice, as I say, I used a different hat pattern, but I got gauge and I love how it turned out, and it is definitely not too big this time, and it's definitely going to fit. So I'm really pleased that I persevered with this, and Milo really likes it too. So that was a win. So that's my kind of second finished object since I spoke to you last. And now I'll move on to works in progress. So last time I mentioned I had started knitting the Matthew pullover by Amy Sher, and I've done a little bit more on that. So I'll show you the progress. And here it is. I had already knit the body when I showed you last, and what I'm doing now is Amy has used work in the flat now to do the cabling on the front and the back. So this is the start of that, which I'm really pleased with. When I was doing the swatch, I actually knit the cables in a size, in a needle size higher than I was knitting the body. But when I did the swatch, I wasn't quite happy with how the cabling was turning out, so I just kept the same needle to do the cable as for the body, and I think that's going to look a lot better. So it doesn't look like much, but it's yeah, it's quite a lot of work, and because it takes a bit of concentration, this one is charted. The cables are charted, and so it's just taking me a little bit more time because I'm more of a reading the patterns rather than looking at the charts. But it's really good experience because I'm just getting used to how to read charts. But that's where I am. So I'm really pleased with this so far. I think in my last video I said, oh yeah, I'll concentrate on it. I'll concentrate on doing it in January, and that didn't happen. I've been the weather's been the weather got a little bit better here, and now it's just raining buckets, and then sometimes sunny. So anyway, I've had a few chances to get out into the garden, and as soon as spring starts, the garden just calls to me. It's like, Mel, come on, you know you want to be out here in the garden doing things. So so I've not quite got as much knitting done on this as I thought I would do, but I'm enjoying it, and it's a little bit challenging, so it's good. It's good when I'm in the mindset for something a bit challenging to kind of pick this one up. So that's that. And the next thing that I cast on, just because that one is fairly challenging and it's not something I can just pick up and knit on, I cast on for these Rye socks. These are the Rye Light by Tin Can Knits. They have it's a free pattern. They have two free patterns. They have the Rye and then the Rye Light. And so I was getting gauge with the light. So I'll hold it the other way up because it's a cuff down. So you've got a cuff and then this lovely garter stitch panel, and then it's stockinette on the back. So I've nearly done the leg. So I've just got a little bit more to do on that, and then I can start doing the heels. But that's a nice kind of fairly easy for me thing to pick up and knit on when I just want something that's a little bit easier to knit. And I'm trying a new yarn. This is Woolly Mammoth. I watch her YouTube channel, and I really like all of the naturally dyed yarn that it all looks great. And so I thought, oh, I want to give that a go. So I got some of her. Now, what is it called? I've got the label here somewhere. It is called Hearth Sock by Woolly Mammoth, and the colourway is mulberry. And what is it made out of? It is 100% wool, 50% Jacob and 50% blue-faced Leicester, and it's sourced, spun and made in the UK. And it's because it's 100% wool. Ordinarily I'd use something with nylon in it, but she was saying that she knits, well, she uses her own yarn, and which is 100% wool, and so she says she normally knits them a little bit bigger and a little bit longer than she normally would for a sock, with a view that it'll, as you wash it and as you wear it, it'll kind of shrink a little bit and it'll felt down a little bit. So these look quite big to me, but I'm hoping that because I know that they'll shrink down a little bit, that actually they'll be the right size after like a few washes and things. So I'm really pleased with how that is looking and how it's feeling. It's you know, it's not a super soft yarn, but it's also, yeah, I think it's going to be, well, on my feet. It's not going to be on my, like, next to my kind of neck or face. It's going to be on my feet. So yeah, I'm really liking how they are looking so far, and I love this texture. And obviously, like, tin can knit patterns are really detailed, beginner friendly. Like, I've knit plenty of socks before, but I wanted to try one of their sock patterns just to see, because I'm always on the hunt for, like, I love Claire Divine patterns. That's Claire Divine socks. They're usually the patterns that I use. I really like the way that she writes, but I'm just trying to find, I'm trying lots of different sock patterns just to see which ones suit me. So yeah, I'm having fun so far with this. So, oh, and I wanted to, I've got a wee stitch marker on here that I wanted to show you because it just cheers me up. It's like a wee three-eyed monster. That was from the Knitting Goddess when she used to do her glass blown knitting stitch markers. So yeah, wanted to show him off. And yeah, so that's whips, 2 whips so far. I mean, I've got other things on the go, but they're just kind of thoughts at the moment. I'm not really kind of fully started. So I'll just show you, I'll keep this brief and I'll just show you the ones that I'm actually working on right now. So the last thing I wanted to talk to you about was an exciting event that's happening in a couple of weeks' time, actually, in Edinburgh. So there used to be an Edinburgh Yarn Festival here, which was great and I loved it. And then that stopped just before COVID. I think 2019 was the last Edinburgh Yarn Festival. And so there hasn't been a yarn festival in Edinburgh since then. But there was a crowdfunder started last year by several Scottish people within the yarn industry, so either yarn dyers, magazine producers, crochet. They all got together and did a crowdfunder to do a yarn event in Edinburgh, and it's called the Woolly Good Gathering. And I crowdfunded it, I don't know if that's how you say it. Like, I contributed to the crowdfunder. Is that the right way to say it? So anyway, it's going, I mean, it just beat all of its targets. It's like every new target that was put up, like boom, 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 they were all just completely so well supported. So I've really got high hopes for this festival. So it's happening on the 26th and 27th of April in Edinburgh at a venue called Summer Hall. I mean, it sounds like there's going to be some really, really good vendors. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. And I've been thinking about what I might get. So let's see, but at the moment my plan is Ysolda released a new sweater pattern a few weeks ago, maybe it was a month ago now, called the Studio jumper. And I really like the look of that. And because if you're a subscriber to her newsletter, she sometimes gives discount codes, and so there was a discount code for that particular pattern. So of course I bought it, because it's another one of these that might end up being quite a good, just like standard everyday crew neck jumper to wear. So I am going to look for some yarn at the event for that. And speaking about Woolly Mammoth before, she usually mentions patterns by Ailbiona McLochlainn, and so there's a vest pattern by Ailbiona McLochlainn called Gan. I think that is, now what did she say? I think that's the Irish word for missing. I think that's right. So it's a sleeveless vest, and I haven't worn a sleeveless vest for a long time, but I keep seeing them and I'm like, oh, that might be quite a nice kind of transitional piece for kind of spring going into summer, especially in Edinburgh, because it's very windy in Edinburgh even in the summer. So yeah, quite fancy having a look if I can find some yarn for a vest as well. And then I had, because I'm knitting socks at the moment, I can't remember how or why I saw this, but I saw the Addi Crazy Trio needles, and I saw somebody demonstrating them, and I thought, oh, I'd quite fancy giving those a go for my sock knitting, because I use Magic Loop and I'm quite happy using Magic Loop, but sometimes the cables can get in the way. So I thought, if they have the Addi Crazy Trio needles at the yarn festival, then I might buy some, give them a go and see what they're like, because I do like knitting socks. And then the last thing that I thought of was Jen Hogg Generates. She does really good notions for both sewing and knitting. And when I was at the knitting and stitching show, I bought some of her jumper stitch markers, because they're really cool. They have like front and back and sleeve written on them, so you can kind of place them in the appropriate places so that you know where you are in your jumper. I thought they were really clever. But she has a stretch ruler for sewers. So if you have stretch fabrics, they normally say in the pattern like how much stretch you need the fabric to have. And you know, I can buy the fabric at the time and think, okay, yeah, I need like 40 to 60% stretch. But then once it's kind of washed and folded in my cupboard, I can't remember what stretch the fabric has. So I thought, oh, that might be quite a handy little gadget to have. So I can just kind of whip out my stretch ruler and then, you know, measure that basically. So I'll have a look and see if I could, I'll maybe get one of those as well. So I'm very excited for that. And yeah, probably what I'll do is I'll see. I'm not going to promise anything, but I'll maybe try and take some footage and do like a wee video about the event once I've been along. But But yeah, I'm very excited for that because it'll be really nice to have a yarn festival back in Edinburgh. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and yeah, happy knitting, and I'll see you again soon. See you later.